Hello witches, wizards, and those who are yet to receive their Hogwarts letters. Welcome to my Harry Potter kitchen. This is a YouTube series where I'm baking my way through the Harry Potter books, making recipes for all the food and drink featured inside. If you missed last week's recipe for our Harry Potter Lightning Bolt chocolate eclairs, then make sure you check out the link down below in the description to catch up. But it's Magic Monday, so let's see what's up next. If you love all things Harry Potter just like me and you don't want to miss a thing from my Harry Potter kitchen, then make sure you hit that subscribe button and click on the notification bell so you get an alert every Magic Monday when there is a brand new video. But without further ado, let's get back to the story. Well, the desserts just keep on coming, so let's see what's up next. A moment later, the puddings appeared. Blocks of ice cream in every flavour you could think of, apple pies, treacle tarts, chocolate eclairs, and jam donuts. Looks like we're heading back to the bakery. For our jam donuts, you will need 250 grams of plain flour and 250 grams of strong white bread flour, 100 grams of golden caster sugar, 1 teaspoon of salt, 7 grams of fast action yeast, 200 milliliters of milk, 50 grams of melted butter, 2 eggs, and 1 teaspoon of vanilla. We're also going to make some homemade raspberry jam to fill these donuts with, so you'll need 150 grams of fresh raspberries, 150 grams of jam sugar, and the juice of half a lemon. All that's left is some oil for frying and sugar to dust. Now, for those of you that have been following the series from the start, you'll remember that we made a giant crispy cream donut for Uncle Vernon in one of the early episodes. But this time, I thought we'd do something that's a little bit more manageable as we have just gone through the whole of the Great Old Feast. So this time, we're gonna make some individual lightning bolt jam donuts, which are gonna be filled with a homemade fresh raspberry jam. This is how it's done. To begin, we're gonna start by combining our dry ingredients in a bowl. That's our plain flour, strong white bread flour, and our golden caster sugar. Give it a mix until it's nice and combined, and then make a well in the middle. You then want to sprinkle in your salt and yeast on either side of your well. Next, we need to add in our liquid, so start by cracking your eggs and beating them together, and then pour in your milk, melted butter, eggs, and vanilla. Of course, you can do this by hand, but I'm using a stand mixer, so I'm going to pop that on, starting off slowly and then bringing it up to a higher speed and let that knead for about 5 to 10 minutes. You'll know that it's good to go once the dough is nice and smooth and springy to the touch. Lightly grease a bowl with oil and then place your donut dough inside. Cover this with cling film and then place it in a warm place to rise for about an hour until it's doubled in size. Okay, so while our dough is rising, we're going to move on to making our homemade raspberry jam, and it is super simple to make. You might have seen us make our marmalade earlier on in the series. Well, this one is even easier. It only takes 10 minutes and it tastes even better than anything you can buy in the shop. To make the jam, all you need to do is get a saucepan on a medium heat and then add in your raspberries, sugar, and your lemon juice. Give it a good stir and then bring it up to the boil. Leave the raspberries to cook for 5 minutes and then mash them down until it's nice and smooth. You'll then want to leave it to bubble and boil for another 5 minutes and then it's all done. You'll know it's ready when it coats the back of a spoon and leaves a trail when you swipe your finger across. Now, you can have this seeded, but if you want a smooth jam to go inside your donuts, all you need to do is pass it through a sieve. I like to make this ahead of time and then keep it in an airtight jar in the fridge until it's ready to use. And it really is that easy to make your own homemade jam. Definitely worth trying out because, as I mentioned, it will taste so much better than anything you can buy. And you can do this in advance. It will keep for a good week in the fridge. Don't have to just use it for donuts. It goes great on toast as well. Anyway, once that is out the way, you can move on to finishing your donuts. And as I said, we're going to make these into some individual lightning bolts. For this, of course, you need to make a stencil. So you can either do this freehand, and I've made quite a few lightning bolt treats in my time, so I like to do it by myself. But if you can't, or you need a bit more guidance, then feel free to print one out and then trace around it on some baking paper. Once your stencil is good to go, you want to get your dough, remove the cling film and knock it back slightly so that we can begin to work with it. Knead it for about a minute on a lightly floured surface, and then we're going to roll it out to about 1 centimetre thick. A quick trick here is to oil your knife, as this will make it so much easier to cut. Place your stencil on top and work your way around. Once you're happy with your shapes, all you need to do is pop them onto a greased baking tray, and you want to make sure you leave enough space in between because we're going to let them rise again. Once all your lightning bolts are ready, place some cling film over the top again and pop it into a warm place to rise for an hour. About 10 minutes before your dough is finished, you want to place a saucepan on a medium heat and then add in your oil. Allow this to warm up, and if you want to test that it's ready to go, you can take some spare dough and pop it in, and it should start to go golden brown in 1 minute. Once the donuts are ready, we're going to start frying them, and we're going to do these about 2 or 3 at a time, just so they have enough space to fry. Carefully place these into the hot oil and they should start sizzling straight away, and then you want to give them 1 to 2 minutes on either side to go golden brown. Carefully flip them over and allow them to cook through on the other side before you remove them from the oil. Allow them to drain off on a baking tray before we move on to filling them. Once all your donuts are ready to be filled, a quick trick is to take a sharp piping nozzle and pierce into each one, and this is just going to make it easier for our piping bag to go in later. Place a round nozzle into your piping bag and then fill it with your jam. You'll then want to carefully pipe the jam into each of your donuts. You're going to need to do this by eye and feel, so as you can watch the jam going inside, you'll feel some resistance in the donut. Once it's full, you want to stop just before the jam oozes out the top. Of course, if you have spilt a little bit over the edge, you can always clean it up after. The last thing to do is coat our donuts in sugar. So for this, I've placed some sugar into a bowl, and then I'm going to dip the donuts in, giving them a nice even coating, and then placing them onto their serving dish. And we're done. The whole of Hogwarts is going to go nuts for these donuts. So there you have it. Our Harry Potter inspired jam donuts are complete. Let me know what you think down below in the comments, and if you want to try them out yourself, I'd love to see some pictures, so send them in on Instagram, Twitter and Facebook. If you want to see more from my Harry Potter kitchen, then make sure you hit that subscribe button, click on the notification bell so you get an alert every Magic Monday when there is a brand new video. That's all for now, but I will see you next week.